Yes, sir. A very good afternoon to one and all. I, Sashwati Borkotoki, on behalf of the Department of History of the Assam Royal Global University, welcome you all to today's session, that is the fourth day of the orientation program that has been organized for the new entrants to the Assam Royal Global University. RGU is the premier educational institute of the Northeastern region. Standing high with its virtues of excellence and a humble contribution to the society at large, as has been its motto since its inception. With qualified faculty and quality infrastructure, RGU offers a unique educational experience for students to lead and make a difference in the world. RGU has, throughout its history, maintained a particular commitment to exceptional graduate and postgraduate training. The faculty members work with close coordination with the students in their endeavor to build a rapport of proper understanding with the students in solving academic and societal challenges. RGU ensures and believes in a holistic development of the students to transform them to industry ready individuals to enable them to emerge as young and aspiring leaders of tomorrow. In this endeavor, the contribution of the Vice Chancellor of the university cannot be overrated. With his commitment, perseverance, and dedication, Dr. S.P. Singh has marshaled the university to the position that it has acquired today. Working in close coordination with him, due mention should also be made of the academic chairperson, the registrar, and all the faculty, technical and non-technical staff who make the university what it is today. Today we have with us Ma'am Anubha Goyal, Principal, Royal Global School, to deliver her thoughts on today's topic, that is attitude. Madam Anubha went to the prestigious Welham's Girls' School and pursued her higher education from Loreto College, Darjeeling. She served as the principal of Sarla Birla School for a decade. Madam joined the RGS, fortunately for all of us, in 2014. A believer in holistic education, Ms. Goyal has been serving as the principal of RGS with the utmost diligence. We have Dr. Devika Fukan of the Royal School of Applied and Pure Sciences, HOD of the Department of Physics, to welcome Ma'am Anubha. I request her to kindly do the honors. Ma'am.
Okay. Good afternoon, Singh sir, ma'am, and my dear students. Today is a beautiful day, a day which we all consider each and every day to be a beautiful one, a day with a positive aspects. And always, every life, every day is an experiment. The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude. Yeah, it's not by me, it's by Oprah Winfrey, your all's favorite. What you think is what you become, and what you become is what is your attitude. Attitudes are positive, negative, and it is a feeling. For example, if you say it can be merely a job satisfaction, while your behavior reflects any act or say. Often our actions are the result of attitudes that we have boundaries between attitude and behavior in the individual's attention and intentions. We can change ourselves, we can change our attitudes. Maybe, like always, we have a purpose, we think without expecting any results, and we always try to improve our skills in each and every state of our life. Obviously, setbacks will be there, and it has to be improved with your skills as well as our skills. We need to have positive attitude. We don't need to take everything very seriously. We need to forget the limitation of others, and frequently we all must use the word thank you. Attitudes are positively or negatively affect a person's behavior. People with these types of attitudes towards work may likewise affect those around them, and behave in a manner that reduces efficiency and effectiveness for a productive world. There are so many ways to change or to have a positive attitude. We can start with a positive affirmation. We can focus only on good things. We can find humor in any bad situations, because every failures in our life may turn into a beautiful lessons tomorrow. We can talk positive. We can focus on the presence. We can find friends, mentors, and co-workers. And most important is believe in yourself. You are unstoppable. Dear students, let me also take the privilege of informing you all that Madam Anubha Goyal is a very positive, dynamic, and very caring principal of RGS. And maybe we hope many of them are from her wing. Students identify her not because only as a principal, but because of her positive attitude. And I feel privileged to welcome her. May I present Madam Anubha Goyal for the students. Thank you, ma'am, and a very happy welcome.
Thank you so much. It was so wonderful. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here this afternoon. A very good afternoon to our Professor Dr. S.P. Singh, Vice Chancellor RGU, Professor A.K. Burgohain, Chairperson Academics, all the professors present, teachers, and of course, a very special audience for the day, the young ladies and gentlemen, the fresh Royalites. I see quite a number, so it's good that you're going to be here listening. Yes, 250 is not bad. First and foremost, I would want to congratulate each one of you for having secured your university place. And secondly, for choosing to study in RGU. Believe me, you've made the right choice, and I'm sure it has been your first choice. RGU is the university that I would undoubtedly say is the best in the Northeast. And not only in the Northeast, but it's making its place in the country. So a very big congratulations to each one of you who's joined RGU. Let's give a big hand for RGU. Well done, Royalites. Your arrival here in RGU marks a new chapter in the story of your life. The preceding chapters were guided by someone else, your parents, your guardians, your teachers. Now, you will be the sole author of the next chapter. So children, you need to take the responsibility of looking after yourselves and giving it proper direction and, let's say, plot to your story that follows. It is, no doubt, going to be both challenging and empowering. While you are here, you would have the opportunity to learn new things, acquire new knowledge, develop new skills, enhance your personality, and with attributes that will equip you for life after the university. And let me tell you, students, you are going to make lots of new friends and relationships. And do remember, what you make, the friends and relationships that you acquire in school and college are there to keep. They are your truest and fastest friends for life. So do make good friends. Now, the pandemic that we've all been through has been a very unfortunate event, but I must tell you that it's been a great leveler and a great teacher. We've learned numerous lessons from it, and I think the most important has been that we've realized that it's only through change and adaptability that we can survive. And I think we've all done that. It's taught us many other lessons, one being the concept of minimalism. Yes, we've realized that we don't really need to hoard and we can do with the minimum. I don't know how many sets of clothes we would buy, cupboards would be full, our kitchen ladder would be full of food. But really, did we ever need to hoard so much? All the lockdown period, we've managed with so little. So I think it has been a great lesson. It has also, to a great extent, brought a halt to the mass destruction and pollution of our Mother Earth. I think to a great extent, Mother Earth has healed. And above all, students, it's given us a lot of time to introspect and reflect. And I hope all of you have done that. It's given us time to discover our innate talents, to discover our interests. It's given you a lot of time to bond with your family, to pursue your hobbies and interests. And I know many of you even took to fitness regimes. You promised yourself that you're going to come out fitter. And I definitely decided that I'm going to become more tech savvy. I hope in the long run, children, especially for you all, since you all were freshly out of school and you had 6 months to do nothing, you made good use of all the time in hand. Dear students, you are young people with infinite potential and infinite possibilities. However, potential is nothing if it does not find its channel or its purpose. Success is something so many seek, but relatively so few find. One reason being, just like happiness, success is not something to answer the question, what is my why? What do I mean by why? WHY. What is my bigger purpose in life? I hope you're getting it, students. So in the words of the great 19th century philosopher, Nietzsche, he who has a why to live for can bear with almost any how. I hope it's making sense to you, children. Now, those who do not have the answer to this question, what is my why, lack motivation or the drive to pursue a bigger purpose. They just go with the exactly they want. For example, you know you need to pass class 10, then class 12, then come and join college, do your BA, BCom. That's not enough. There has to be much more. These people who don't know their why, even they live in the best of times with a sense of emptiness, devoid of the meaning of the full why in their lives. So it is at these times, children, that you may feel dissatisfied and frustrated with your lives. So how do you discover what is your why? Knowing your why is the first step in figuring out how to achieve your goals that excite you to live rather than just surviving. I don't know how many of us just survived through these 6 months. I'm sure there were many of us who were excited because we had so much of time in hand and we could do so much. Whereas for some of us, we may have just laid down every morning. It's another day, it's the pandemic, you had enough excuses to do just nothing. Yes? So now what makes you come alive? So how do you know your why? You will only know what is your why when you know what makes you come alive, what inspires you, what energizes you. It's all about connecting with what you are passionate about. And I'm sure all of you are passionate about something or the other. What gives you that fire in your belly? Yes? So what are your inner strengths? Now again, children, you may have come to do your BA or BCom or engineering, but I'm sure you have strengths such as being creative, being naturally adept at coming out with solutions or thinking out of the box solutions. You may be a gifted communicator. You may be a good writer. You may be a good orator. For those who are very, very tech savvy, you may be very good at gaming or coding. So these could all be your purpose in life. What is your why? Just, I don't know how many of you have heard of him. As a civil rights leader, Howard Thurman once wrote, ask yourself what makes you come alive and then do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. And lastly, and most importantly, we can discover meaning or our purpose through the attitude we have towards unavoidable suffering. Most of the world's greatest achievements have been achieved as a result of the attitude chosen to respond when they were being challenged. Take the pandemic, for example, like I said. Some of us may have made it the biggest excuse possible, whereas some of us may have made the most out of it. Like I would say, look at our worthy and honorable chairman. He's published a book during this pandemic. The author in him has come out. I hope in many of you too, your talents would have come out and you would have discovered yourselves. Yes? Now, I don't know if you've heard of a historical figure and author named Viktor Frankl. Frankl was a Jew who lived in Nazi Germany. So like many others, he was placed in the worst concentration camp, where he said those who survived were not on the basis of their height, weight, intelligence, or education, but the ones who had a meaning or a purpose, the ones who could answer, what is my why? In fact, children, he's also authored a book. So any of you would be interested, you could read. It's called The Man's Search for Meaning. Now, while I'm talking of this, I was reminded of a story which in most likelihood is a true story. Yes? A man stood in the dock of a court awaiting his death sentence. The judge was shaking his head in despair as he read out a long list of the man's crimes. In the end, he asked the social worker present there to prepare a report before deciding the final verdict. The social worker met with the criminal. And what did the criminal say? Well, how do you expect us to be? Our mother died when we were so little, and our father looked after us. He was a heavy drinker. He often beat us up brutally. We often went hungry because there was no money to buy food. How else do you expect us to be? The social worker, on asking, he was wondering, why is he saying us and why is he saying we? He's only talking about himself. But when he asked the criminal said, no, I have a brother who lives in a town almost 200 kilometers away. So he said, fine, I'm going to go in search of your brother. So when the social worker went to that town, he found that his brother was a former mayor and a successful businessman with an impeccable reputation and a happy family. When asked about his background and earlier life, he responded simply by saying, yes, it's true. Our father could not cope with the death of our mother. He did some wrong things and life was so tough. But after going through all that, what else do you expect me to be than to be a successful man? So students, have you understood? Same circumstances, same family background, yet different choices. How each one responded differently to their situations. Thus, it is the response that defines the attitude in challenging times. The person who knows his why, who has meaning and a clear purpose, will find that success comes as a natural progression and happiness follows. I hope students, you've understood this. Would anyone want to tell me what is their why at the moment? I can have the answers in the chat. Anyone? Now, again, while we were talking of what your why or your purpose is, students, let me tell you, your purpose in life during the different stages of your life would be different. If you ask me mine, I'll tell you. Now, I'm talking of 40 years back. I'm the siblings, and my purpose those days was finish college and get married. Believe me, and that's exactly what happened. We were not ambitious, but I'm definitely sure it's not going to be yours now. Yes, you've got so much more to do than just get married. But 40 years back, yes, that was my purpose. So straight after my graduation, the only thing I did was to get married. And yes, I did have kids. But then at the age of 30, I decided my purpose was that I need to study further. And believe me, in spite of having a family, I made sure I did my further education. I did my B.Ed, my post-graduation and whatever. So that was my purpose. Once I completed that, then I thought, no, I need to start working. So I only started working at the age of 32. In fact, let's put it 33. And then my purpose was, now that I'm a teacher, I need to be the best that I can be. After that, at the age of 40, I came to head a school. Once heading the school, my purpose then was to be the best head that I could be of a school. And that is what I worked towards. At the age of 50, I came to RGS, and here again, my purpose was to touch as many lives and to make a difference. So at every stage, your purpose becomes different. And your energy comes from what your purpose is. Every morning when you get up, children, you must have a purpose. It could be anything. It could be something very mundane. But if you don't have any purpose, it's going to be your life where you're just going to be surviving. So do have a why in your life. And if you ask me at this moment, what is my purpose? Besides, of course, running the school, in 1 or 2 years, whenever I go, is to be a cool mother-in-law and a loving grandmother. And if I have to be politically correct, to do a little social work. So I need to find my ground now. So what I'm trying to tell you, children, is that you have to have your why. To be successful, to be living, not to be dead and just surviving. Be energetic, have a purpose, decide what you want, and make the most of the beautiful life that you have. Students, you may be a man of success, but you always need to be a man of values too. Now, I want to read this story out to you, which I'm sure you would all be able to relate to. The Nobel laureate Professor C.V. Raman, after retirement, oh, wait 1 minute. I do have a few question answers. Okay, we'll see that. Yes. Nobel laureate Professor C.V. Raman, after retirement, wished to open a research institute in Bangalore. So he gave an advertisement in the newspaper for lots of eager scientists applied, thinking that even if they were not selected, they would at least get an opportunity to meet the Nobel laureate. In the preliminary section, 5 candidates were selected, and the final interview was to be taken by Professor C.V. Raman himself. 3 were selected out of the 5. Next day, Professor Raman was taking a walk and found one young man waiting to meet him. He realized it was the same man who was not selected. The professor asked him what the problem was, and he replied that there was no problem at all, but after finishing the interview, the office had paid him 7 rupees extra and he wanted to return it. But because the accounts had closed, they would not take the amount back, and so they had asked him to keep it, and which he was not wanting to keep. The man said, "It is not right for me to accept this money and I need to return it to whom it belongs." Professor C.V. Raman told him, "So you wish to return the rupees 7," and he took the money from him. After going a few steps forward, the professor asked the young man to meet him the next day at 10:30 a.m. The man was happy that he would get an opportunity to meet the great man again. When he met the professor the next day, the Nobel laureate told the young man, "Son, you failed in the physics test, but you've passed in the honesty test." The young man was happy to join. Later on, any guesses who this young scientist was? He became a Nobel laureate in 1983. This young man, professor, US citizen of Indian origin. He has even written a book on how the 7 rupees changed his life. This was how honesty made a great scientist. What is lacking in talent can most often be made up for through hard work, guidance, and help from each other. But what is lacking in character and value can never be made up with anything. So which is why even Einstein said, don't try to be a man of success only, but always be a man of values. And like Thomas said, The earth doesn't need more successful man. It needs good human beings. So no matter what, children, you need to be, at the end of the day, good human beings. And believe me, if you have good values, if you are going to be a person of integrity, hard work, empathy, compassion, there's no reason why you won't be successful. All right? Now, before I end off, I'm going to show you a video, but before I show you the video, I want to ask you, would anyone tell me which is the biggest animal? Yes, sing, sir. Yes, the elephant. Yes. Animal in the jungle.
In a jungle is elephant, in a sea it is blue whale.
Okay, very good. And which is the tallest animal? Shashwati, tell me which is the tallest animal in the jungle? Giraffe, absolutely. Giraffe. Which is the wisest animal? Devika, which is the wisest animal?
Humans.
Okay, fine. I agree to that. Or maybe the fox also in the jungle. And which is the fastest animal?
Hyena.
Fox.
The cheetah.
Fox.
Now, we've had so many animals. Where is the lion? And yet we call the lion the king of the jungle? Isn't it amazing? Yes. So children, here I'm going to show you a video which I hope would make sense to you and motivate you. Yes? Just 1 minute. Children, did it make sense to you?
Yes.
Bring out that lion. Yes, I hope it motivated each one of you. You could be the lion with that boldness, with that courage. Walk with confidence, never say die attitude. And you could absolutely rule the world. Yes? All right. So we'll take the questions in the end. Now, university environment, children, unlike a school environment, requires a lot of self-governance. Now, I'm sure RGU is very, very disciplined, but normally other universities is not. I mean, and they are very particular. I know Dr. Singh is very, very particular in every aspect. But normally, children, you need to take responsibility for everything. Now is a time when you would be given a lot of freedom, if not in the university, even maybe outside. You may not be penalized for issues such as late submissions, skipping classes, handing over poor assignments, sleeping in class or wrong uniform or long hair. But after 3 years, you will realize that whatever you've lost is your loss. The damage is what you would have done to yourselves. I know RGS is very particular and they will never let this happen. But again, children, one can take the horse to the water, but one can't make it drink. So you need to be very, very responsible. Embrace all the opportunities that come by your way. The university allows you to explore the outside world and the inner self. Learn about the motivations of your peers. Learn to identify people, peer into their interests and see if you can find yourself there. Spend time being creative, create art, create beautiful memories, and try leaving behind a legacy for your juniors, as well as having your name etched in the Hall of Fame for you to be remembered. These are 3 important years of your life, the golden years. So go ahead, head on and face the world. Make the most of it. God bless and all the very best. Thank you, students. And I'm sure you're going to have wonderful 3 years, 3 years which would be the years of your life. Thank you so much. I think we've got some questions here. Yes, should we answer those questions? So cute.
Yes,
they've written, yes, Sayantani is written, I want to be a successful government official. How lovely. Why our parents take so much tension about our studies? I know as parents they will, but they should know it's my life now. I know what is good and what's not to choose, but still they say to do this and do that. You know, students, that is true. I think parents, parents never mean anything bad for you. Do understand that. They are always a little anxious because they want the best for you. Children, you need to, more than anyone else, believe in yourselves and just carry on. If you can give that surety to your parents, I'm sure your parents would stop bothering. It's also, children, those parents worry more when the children at home don't have that disposition or that attitude. But if your attitude is right, your parents would believe in you and they would know that, yes, he is capable. When the time comes, he will do it. Are you understanding? Yes. What else is there? Ma'am, I had always stayed out of Assam. And finally, I decided to come back to my roots, and my purpose is to do something for my own people. And listening to you, I'm even more determined now. Thank you so much. All right, you're such a positive speaker. Okay. Yes, Shashwati, are you going to read them out?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I have a few set of questions from the side of our students who have joined recently. The first, with your permission, I would like to move on to those questions. The first question is, what are the types of attitude?
See, the types of attitude. Now, again, let me tell you, children, there's a positive attitude and a negative attitude, yes? And it's always not easy to be positive. In the worst of times, also, we could be negative. But it's always how you respond to it. And let me tell you, children, and I always say that to my children when I would address them at assembly. I said, when you get a call for an interview, they would always see your credentials. That's the only time when your marks or your credentials would matter. But once you're across the table, what everyone's going to look at is your attitude. The way you interact, the way you respond, the way you answer questions, the way you take the interview. So this is what I mean by attitude. Always have an open mind. Be open to criticisms. Don't think see, it's always how you perceive things more than anything else. All right? So perceive things in the correct perspective. That's very, very important. Yes? Half the time, you've already got a thought in yourself. So when anyone else is doing something, you're negative, don't. Take it in your stride and believe me, it'll be all good. And there's always an opportunity in every adversity. All right? Yes. Yes, Shaswati.
Yes, ma'am. There's a very interesting question that has popped up by Methi Das. She has asked, ma'am, what is the difference between dream and fantasy?
Fantasy, I suppose, is what you fantasize. Uh, is you know what I would see? I really haven't studied all this, but what my understanding would be is fantasizing is something beyond imagination, which may not be possible all the time. But a dream is something which is achievable and may happen. But tomorrow I fantasize myself flying in the air like Batman. I'm sure that's never going to happen, but I'm fantasizing. Yes. But yes, I can dream of being a CEO of a company. The dreams are, I think, more achievable and reachable. What do you say, Mr. Singh? I know I'm there to scream, but I'm sure you would be able to tell us also. Yes.
Ma'am, in the era of science and technology, there's a very thin line between fantasy and dream nowadays. Because what we think at times is fantasy, that may become dream tomorrow because the scientific developments are happening so fast. So my
True.
thinking is that all what is fantasy cannot be dream, but many things what you think is fantasy can be dream also in due course of time when the scientific knowledge will enhance further. And dreams definitely, as Bam has said very rightly, it is most of the time which is achievable, which is probably you'll achieve in few days, few weeks, or maybe years to come. But at times, fantasy also is a part of dream. I mean, that is my opinion.
Thank you. Thank
Am
you.
I audible?
Yes. Yes,
Yes, sir.
absolutely. Yes. Yes. I think there's
Ma'am,
another
can we
question.
move on to the next question? Yes, ma'am. Okay. So